My name is Anmo Pandey, and I'm the founder of Venture Diaries. So, Venture Diaries is basically a platform for startups, early stage startups, where we talk about their journey, their founders, and what they're doing, and what they're planning to do to inspire and give some insights of like whatever is happening in the startup ecosystem, especially Indian startup ecosystem, to the founders like who are planning to start a startup or something. So yeah, so let's start with the basic question. And I know what you're building, but I want to hear from you guys. What are you building? What is Broomees? And just tell me about it.
Hi, Anubhav. Really nice to meet you early in the morning. Uh, the three of us have been building Broomees for almost 2 years now. And officially, we completed our first anniversary on February 4th. It's been a little over a year. What we're building is a platform where workers can freely choose where they want to work. And this is particularly for domestic help. So there are millions of platforms for blue-collar workers who want to work as assistants, receptionists, salespersons, accountants, and all. But there's absolutely no platform which is empowering domestic workers. On the customer side of the issue, customers have been trying to book domestic help, cook, babysitter, and all these related services through online platforms. But the service has more or less been like an online maid agency. And maid agency is something that customers are not really willing to go for, just that for the lack of better options, that is the only option they're left with. So yeah, so a customer who comes to Broomees is able to clearly communicate what their requirement is, how their house setup is, what their family structure is, what exactly they want from the worker. And instead of charging the customer for the entire day, we charge them on a work basis. So it's a very good saving for the customer as well. And the worker also gets to work in more than one household. And it's a win-win situation. So that is what we're creating.
It's great. Like in the early talks with Niharika, when you guys were in class 6 of 100 XVC, so I was just researching about you guys, what you guys doing, and it's great. It's great from the background you guys come from engineers and to building startup like this. So now I want to know, I'm very curious about how the idea came into your mind. Like, what were you guys thinking while you came with the idea of Broomies, and why Broomies only? Why this startup?
Sure.
So
Go ahead.
yeah. So Vaibhav and I are friends since first year of college, and together we have done multiple social entrepreneurship work, and we had our own NGO Nanne Kadam, where we used to teach underprivileged kids in slum areas near Delhi NCR. So we used to teach them and get them admission to nearby government school, and there we felt the root cause, the root of the problem was unemployment and unavailability of good opportunities to these workers, because of which worker has to move from one place to another, and their children could not stick to one school. So we chose domestic work because it requires there's very less technicality. So worker can be upskilled and trained in lesser time and can get fair wages and good wages. And the second point was there's a huge demand. So by creating a common platform and organizing this market, so we could benefit the customer also and the worker also. So Weber, you want to add something?
And apart from this, so we always wanted to give them a feeling of having a professional job. So professionalism is something that's been majorly missing for these workers. So like a worker working through Broomees gets health insurance, child education benefits, easy home loan without any interest. All these facilities are given to them, which most of us do not get even in our professional job setups. So it's a feeling that we're trying to give to our workers, and yeah, that is one of the goals that we have.
So I think my perspective is it's a very challenging sector that you guys, and it's a tough market that you guys on working on. So I think it's great. And moving towards like your recent funding. So, what are you guys planning on using that money for? You raised like $0.6 million, and how are you going to invest that money?
Sure. So I think the main idea is to get quality supply. And you don't just get quality supply, you create quality supply. So the main utilization is going to happen there, which is going to be to open more registrations, come training centers. So essentially every zone, wherever we operate, will have one Broomees center. And that center will allow the workers to just walk in, register themselves, get themselves trained, and then be placed. So yes, money around supply acquisition, training, verification, and at the same time, automating a product better, using technology at every step to really make this scalable. These two things, and of course, building a good team which can really get this thing going. So that's the idea.
Absolutely, it's great. So you want to say something to like guys who are planning to start their own startups? Is it like risky, or is it a good thing to do to quit their job or quit their college or something to start their startup? It's crazy whatever is going in current Indian startup scenario. Everyone is going on craze like we have to start this up, we have to do something, and it makes me happy how we are growing as a country for the pace and the energy for startups. So what do you guys think, and what do you want to say to the startup founders?
I would want to start in this. Just like plenty of young graduates, me and Weber were also, very keen of starting off something of our own. But it keep, we will keep delaying it. Like we were not, getting the right moment or the right idea or the belief. I don't know. So the biggest threshold, I think, is the taking the first step. And once you have taken that first step, that now we have to start, we have started something, and you start making your efforts, you start giving your 100% to that idea, to that belief, then eventually everything falls into the place. So the biggest step is starting something. So once that is done, then you are on the right track.
Another thing that I'd like to add is, you hear a lot of people raising money, and if you go on LinkedIn, that's the news. Like that is all the news that you're getting, right? I feel like not everybody is being funded, and not everybody will be funded in 1 month or 2 months of their incorporation. You should give yourself that time that you are capable of raising money, and you should just be at it. And raising money should not be your end goal. Like if that's not happening, it may happen in 1 year, 2 years time, like it happened for us after a year and a half, but it was still worth everything, right? So that's one thing that
I just have one thing to add. So when a person is starting up, especially everyone who will be going through this video or text, they must have met a lot of people who will tell them that a job gives you a lot of safety and you shouldn't quit your fancy job and all that. But it's absolutely your call. There's no right or wrong in this. If you want to be someone who held a big position at a, say, Big Four, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to be someone who created that kind of a body, that kind of an entity, then you should definitely quit that job and start doing something about it. As Niharika said, funding should never be your goal because it'll happen if it has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, you can sustain yourself with your revenue. But you should be clear that you want to do this. It shouldn't be that my friend or my brother has started up, so I also want to try it. It is not worth a try. If you're doing this, then I mean, this is what it is. You can't go back to, doing just another job or just another college degree. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to put your heart and soul into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys are like totally right, and I'm totally on this. So, a very, very generic question everyone asks, like when you guys were in the class 6 or pitching ideas to investors. So, was the IIT, IIM degree or NIT degree was necessary for any of the calls? Like you guys were asked from where you have studied, because in the startup scenario, everyone like you have to be from an IIT or an IIM to like raise funds and talk to investors for the credibility. So what do you think about it?
I mean, honestly, we weren't asked even once. I don't remember, I can't recall a single conversation with an investor, maybe one or two, but even those weren't like deal breakers. Like we weren't typically asked, okay, what are our educational backgrounds? I think it was more to do with what have we done in the past in terms of experience we've gained and less in terms of the education we have. It was also a factor of having a mix of experiences. So Vaibhav and Saurav are engineers and I'm from commerce background. Versus they're from DTU versus me from DU, right? Like that doesn't matter. The degree matters, the experience matters is what I'd say.
Yeah.
Being from an IIT or an IIM can actually help you connect faster with investors. But I think that's how far it can help you. You have to be strong with your ideas and execution. Beyond a point, your degree won't help.
Yeah.
The degree is actually necessary if you are at pre-revenue stage. So if you go to an investor just with an idea, so the investor will invest in you, not in the idea that you are from IIM or IIT. But if you think that your idea is big, the market is big, and you are already working on it, and you have a good traction, then the investor will see the execution, that how is the team, what is the team, and you are able to execute what you're thinking. So that is, I think, enough.
Okay. And one more thing, as you guys are a great team, I want to know how important is a team? Like, I want to let the know of the viewers, like, how important is this team for a startup to be successful? You guys have done it brilliantly from very scratch to now where you are now. So tell me about it.
So how we got together was because Vaibhav and Saurav are anyway college best friends. So they've known each other for a really long while. And it's very important to have a cordial relation and like a good kind of a sync with your entire team. That's very, very important. Vaibhav and I knew each other through ISB. We were both going to go to ISB Hyderabad for our MBA. Thankfully, we both dropped out and came together. But right, exactly like you said, it's very important to have a good team, not just the founding team, but also the top leadership team. You realize when you hire a misfit and you see the result yourself, like things going a little haywire and things not falling back in place always. So it's very important who you choose to be a founder with. In a lot of cases, we've seen fallouts happening, and that's really sad for the startup as well as for investors. And so be very careful. I think don't just hop on the wagon and start something up with your buddy, like without giving it a clear thought. Who's going to do what? Is there a balance of skills? Are you both good at the same things? Is that going to work out? So just think through and then decide who your co-founder is going to be. I think that's my one advice.
Absolutely. You guys want to add something?
Yeah, one of the most important thing is your founding team and your key hires should match your ideology and vision. So all of us, all three of us, had that vision of we were thinking in one direction. So that is very important. So even if on a day-to-day basis, if something goes wrong or everything is going fine, so it is important to have a common vision to get going into that direction.
Yeah, great. So the last question of today would be, what do you guys to say one tip for startup founders, early stage startup founders who are just like from starting from very scratch? One thing you would like to tell?
So I think all of us would have one thing.
Yes.
Okay, I'll start. I think I'd like to tell them that don't just start a startup for the heck of it, for the trend of it. Do it because you really want to do it. So I think that's my advice. Do you guys want to add? Yeah.
So I would say just do not start with any idea. Think of the market. The problem has to be big. Start looking for problems around you. If you are facing some problem, then look for other people who are facing similar problems. Then see how big is the market, because in the long run, investment is important, and investors look for big market and scalability. So big problem and which can be scalable. These 2 points are very important.
Yeah. Thank you, Saurabh.
I have a very small suggestion. So I've been mentoring a few juniors recently, and I've observed that people are fighting over equity. So I just want to tell every budding entrepreneur to not do that. Unless and until you treat your co-founder equally, you guys won't be able to work it out. So, I mean, if it's totally like that, that one person is just a coder and you want to give them less equity because you're handling everything else, that's a different scenario. But it shouldn't be basis, okay, I started it and I put in a small amount of money, so now I deserve more equity. That is not the right way to think about it. Treat your co-founders equally, give them equal power, and they will work better than you always.
Okay. So a lot of important tips and a lot of important insights. And I would like to connect you guys again and talk about not just about Broomies, because you guys are like started from scratch and you are guys like on a great path on the way. So yeah, we would connect up sometime again, and it was like a very good talk.
Sure. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Anupam.
so much, Anubhav.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.